It's a religious phenomenon where the afflicted appear to suffer the same wounds as Jesus Christ as he died on the cross. Myrna Nazor is said to be a stigmatist. She is a 31-year-old wife and mother of 2 small children and lives in Damascus, Syria. But people all over the world believe her to be much more than that. And wherever she goes, hundreds of people wanting to be anointed and healed by her follow. This is home video of Myrna taken in the late 1980s at her home. It shows her writhing in pain as the stigmata begins. Wounds on her head are visible. Hundreds of her followers, clergymen, media people, and skeptics crowd into her home, which she and her husband have opened to the public. Slowly, more wounds appear on her feet, her palms, and her side. But she has not experienced stigmata in several years. What she does experience, and frequently, is this. During a period of intense prayer, oil appears to flow from Myrna's hands. Doctors in Syria, as well as priests there, confirm that it is olive oil. Myrna says the oil started when she was just 18 years old. She also experiences what is known as ecstasy, a state of being where she says she sees and receives messages from the Virgin Mary. I had the opportunity to speak to Myrna one-on-one through an interpreter. I asked her first why she thinks this happens to her.
I don't know why. All I know is I put myself at the hands of Our Lady. Whatever will you want, let your will be done. I abandoned myself to the will of God.
While the stigmata clearly shows Myrna in pain, it is not the case with the oil.
There is nothing painful in that. What's painful, really, is when you see people away from Jesus. They can't see Jesus. That's what's painful.
According to Myrna, the messages she receives from the Virgin are of basic Christian values: respect to the family, the church, charity, and prayer to Jesus Christ, and unity within the church, within our personal relationships with each other. In the Byzantine Rite, a bishop must give the final say-so as far as her legitimacy goes. It hasn't happened yet, but the bishop says it's close, and he believes she is sincere.
And we need somebody, and God anoints people from time to time to remind us that this is what the church is.
But even if she is not sanctioned, that won't faze the priest at St. Mary's Church, where she traveled so far to visit, or her faithful followers.
This is up to the Holy Father. So then only the Holy Father, he can make a decision, on this.
It seems incredible, olive oil coming from human hands, but there are no doubting Thomases here. Myrna Nazor is considered to be a stigmatist, a person who appears to manifest the same wounds as Jesus Christ as he died on the cross. She also exudes olive oil during intense prayer. Syrian doctors and biologists confirm that it is olive oil, but they cannot explain it. And wherever she goes, crowds of people follow, both here and at home in Damascus. They want to hear her. They want to be touched by her. I spoke to a professor of religious studies about that. While he was not at the service, he can understand people's attraction to her.
Someone who does believe that the physical world is only one dimension and that there really is a spiritual world would see people who are truly moved by a human being who really lives in both of those worlds.
We live in a world that demands a rational explanation to the unknown. Humans are by nature skeptical. We like to think that there is a scientific answer to everything. I spoke with a doctor about the power of the mind over the body. While he was not at the service, he did address the question.
For someone to exude olive oil, that's not physically possible. However, we know that stigmata do occur. In other words, sometimes it's possible for some individuals to have potent constriction of certain blood vessels, which can affect the skin.
But there's a very fine line when it comes to religion, because religion is, by its very nature, based on faith, and you can't prove faith.
If you have faith, that's all you need, and you have love, and everything will follow through.
This warm feeling that comes over you, I just felt so at peace. I know that there was something there.
This is perhaps something a little bit unusual, but I've seen unusual things before, and I think anybody who spends time with the Lord gets used to seeing unusual things.
وصلوا